Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching Russian History Virtual Tour Series, dedicated to the 350th anniversary of Peter the Great. My name is Alexander Arefiev. I am press attaché of the Russian Embassy in South Africa. As an ally of Poland, Austria and Venice, Russia had been fighting against the Ottoman Empire since 1695. Being a member of this coalition, Moscow pursued its own goals, striving to get access to the Black Sea. But Tsar Peter, who had just begun to build his own fleet, didn't want to be left alone in face of the Ottomans. Besides, addressing the challenges of shipbuilding and creation of new army in Russia required Western specialists to provide their knowledge and experience. It was with this purpose in mind that the so-called Grand Embassy, Russian diplomatic mission to Western Europe, was organized by Peter the Great from 1697 to 1698. Its primary goal was to strengthen and deepen the Holy League, the alliance of European countries against the Ottoman Empire. What makes the mission so special is that Peter the Great headed it himself, but incognito, under the name of Pyotr Mikhailov. Officially, Grand Ambassadors Franz Lefort, Fyodor Golovin and Prokopy Voznitsin were at the helm of the Grand Embassy. Altogether, there were around 250 people traveling along Russian Tsar. The Grand Embassy's path ran through the Swedish Riga, Grand Duchy of Courland, vassal state of Poland, all the way to Prussian lands, Holland, England, Austria and Venice. At the beginning of the journey, the embassy traveled to Königsberg, where Russians were warmly received by Prince Elector of Brandenburg, the future King of Prussia, Friedrich I. Both sides reaffirmed their friendship and commitment to struggle against the Ottomans. Friedrich, who was also claiming the crown of Prussia, offered a defensive alliance to Peter the Great, while the latter limited himself to a promise of support. The Grand Embassy's stay in Europe saw the period of interregnum in Poland, which followed the death of the King John III. Numerous candidates laid claims to Polish throne. Russian Tsar supported the Polish so-called Saxon party, led by Prince Elector Friedrich August, which eventually prevailed. The new king promised Peter to preserve the anti-Ottoman alliance. However, Peter's mission found less success in England and Holland, which had other issues to worry about. These countries were more focused on determining the successor of the childless Spanish king Charles II than on fighting the Ottoman Empire. Moreover, they advocated peace with Ottomans so that they could oppose France in the imminent war of the Spanish succession. At the same time, they would rather welcome an Ottoman-Russian conflict, in which scenario the Ottomans' attention would be distracted by Russia and Europeans would be left alone to concentrate on dispute for the Spanish crown. There were two more allies to count on, Austria and Venice. Yet with them, things were not smooth too. On his way to Vienna, Peter learned that Austria wished to make peace with Ottomans. Long talks with Emperor Leopold II resulted in a mere promise to support Russia at negotiations with Ottoman Empire. As for Venice, Peter never came there. He was forced to return to Russia in 1698 due to the Streltsy uprising that began in Moscow in his absence. Thus, the Grand Embassy may have failed to accomplish its main goal, but it gathered valuable information on the international situation. Peter the Great learned much about the culture and life in Western Europe to further educate people by his own example. He studied shipbuilding and was given the opportunity to gain practical experience in the largest shipyard of the world, belonging to the Dutch East India Company. Peter even received a certificate confirming that he had worked for 4 months and 5 days as a ship carpenter under the supervision of Master Poole, and that he had diligently studied all branches of the craft. While in England, Peter met King William III and traveled to the city of Manchester to learn the techniques of city building that he would later use while constructing St. Petersburg. Peter visited English Navy drills, which left him enchanted, as well as Greenwich Observatory, London Royal Society, Oxford University, some museums and the Parliament. The Grand Embassy went on to acquire urgently needed weapons and to recruit European experts. In the first few months of the trip, for instance, a large number of specialists were hired for Russian fleet, up to 1100. Speaking in modern terms, it was a major technology push and knowledge transfer from Western Europe to Russia. Let's sum up. Having witnessed a new balance of power in Europe during the Grand Embassy, Peter I decided to redirect his efforts from the south to the north. He turned his gaze to the lands overlooking the Baltic Sea. These territories were lost by Russia as a result of the time of troubles, following the Swedish intervention of 1610–1617, and the need to take them back was evident. However, Peter didn't want Russia to face the Swedish army, the strongest in Europe at the time, alone. During the journey to Western Europe with the Grand Embassy, Tsar outlined the future alliance against Sweden. Remember Prince Elector of Brandenburg Friedrich's offer? Besides, on his way back to Russia, Peter met Augustus II, new King of Poland, with an eye on creating a coalition against Sweden. Moreover, Augustus II, in his turn, could convince Denmark, Sweden's longtime opponent, to stand on the side of Russia and Poland in the upcoming conflict. Thus, a Northern Alliance was formed, which would enter the Great Northern War against Sweden in 1700. A new chapter of Russian history was unfolding, and Tsar Peter's Grand Embassy played a significant role in it. That is all for today. My name is Alexander Arefiev, and this was Russian History Virtual Tour Series, dedicated to the 350th anniversary of Peter the Great. Thank you for watching.